Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are talking about data types, like what all data types we have in Salesforce. So we have majorly three data types. One is primitives, collection, as object. In primitives, we have integer, long, float, decimal. We have a string. In collection, we have list, set, and map. And as objects, we have the Salesforce objects that can be, they can be standard objects or the custom objects. So in integer, like in primitives, I have written these data types, which you can see on our screen. In collection, we have list, set, map. So first understand like we why we need data types. We use data types to store the different type of data, because in Salesforce we deal with the customers data, and that can come in form of any type, and we store that data in Salesforce with the help of defining the data types. Another is as object. As object means the Salesforce object basically. Those can be the standard objects or custom objects. Okay, let's learn in depth about these data types using the practical business scenarios, practical examples. So let me open the developer console. So in this entire session, we'll deep dive with the data types. I'm creating the new class, data types CTRL. So I'm taking care of the naming conventions. When I declare any class, it should start with the capital, and each word of every letter should each letter of every word should start with the capital. For example, data D is capital, types D is capital, and controller CTRL C is capital. Let's save it. So when we create any class, it's come with the default, like with the public data types, the public access modifier, that is the class name, class keyword, and this is the class name. Here we can declare the data types. So let's say first the primitive data types. We will declare a couple of primitive data types. We'll assign the default values, then we'll declare the collection, and then as objects. Let's say if I want to store the personal information of employee, so what all fields we can have name, public, string, emp name, because we want to store the employee name. So here string is the data type, because we will store the string type of data in this attribute or variable. This is the variable name which we have declared, and this is the access modifier. Let's say public string emp email. You can also store the address, public string emp address. Similarly, you can also define the different access modifiers, let's say private or global, depending on the need. So let's create the constructor. Previous session we have learned about the constructor. Constructor will always have the same access modifier as your class and will have the same class name. We will initialize the default values for these attributes inside the constructor. Let's say Kumar, employee email ID equals to Kumar at gmail.com, and employee address can be anything depending on that the person where he belongs to. Maybe he belongs to north, east, west. Let's say Noida. For now, let's debug these values now. So how to debug? We use system dot debug to print the values. We will initialize the class in the anonymous block. Go to the debug, click on open execute anonymous window. So here we will initialize or instantiate the class, or we'll create the object of our class. How to instantiate the class name? Then uh, reference variable, it can be anything. This is the your name, which you can put anything. It should have new keyword because we are creating the new instance. That means we need to use new keyword. Let's run it. When we will execute it, we'll see the output. You can say a name, email, and the address. So this is how we will store the data. We store the data in Salesforce by defining the particular type. If you want, you can declare the other types. Let's say integer. You can define boolean. You can define long, decimal, similar to that. Now let's say we will deal with the collection data type. So as I said, in collection we have list, we have set, and later on we have map. These are the three collections which we deal. Okay. So let's see what is the syntax to declare the collection or list or set map. Syntax to declare list. It will have the list keyword, then these curly braces. Here you need to put the data type. As I said, data type can be or anything. It will have the list variable name, where name. Your name can be anything, equals to new. Then again list your data type. So let's say if I want my data type can be the primitive or non-primitive, and primitive means these are the primitive data types here, and non-primitive other are the non-primitives. These are the collection data types. These are the object data types. So let's say I want to declare the list of primitive data type. I want to store the name of multiple employees. So in that case, when I want to deal or I want to store the multiple employee names in any collection, I will declare my list of type string, list str names. You can put any name of your variable, new list string. Say you want to store another information in the form of maybe integer, so you can declare the list integer. In similar fashion, if you want to store the data in set, you can do that. So let's see some examples of list first, then we'll move to the set. I have shown you to declare the list of any string type. We'll put the string list str equals to new list string. How we can add the data in list? This single line comment which I am putting, adding data into list. We'll use that attribute name in list str dot add. So these all these are the methods of the list. You can see add like any element, add element or non any index, add all. When you want to add list into the list, you use add all, or set into the list. You want to clear the list, you want to like empty it, You use clear, you want to like make a copy, then clone. Similar to that, these are the methods. You can check the size of your list, what number of elements you have, whether your list is empty or not. Is empty, we have function. So first let's add the data into that. I will add couple of names. So I have added four names here. Okay. uh, there's one more thing which you should know, the difference of list and set. So list we call the ordered collection of type, means in which order you are putting the data, you will get it in the same order. For example, if I have put the data Harish, Ramesh, Deepak, Mahesh, always I will have the data in the same format, in the same sequence basically. And list can also store your the duplicate data, means you can have the similar kind of data multiple times into the list. On the other hand, when you talk about collections are unordered. Your order may be preserved, may not be. You may have the data in the same order, or you may not. Another thing, set will always have the unique data. It won't accept the duplicate data. It will have always the unique data. Let's print it. Execute this. So here you can see Harish, Ramesh, Deepak, and Mahesh. Data sequence is same. You can see. Let me duplicate this data. As I said, list can contain the duplicate data. I have added the same data again one more time. Let me execute this and we'll see. You can say Harish, Ramesh, Deepak, Mahesh. Harish, Ramesh, Deepak, Mahesh. We have the duplicate data into the list. In similar fashion, let's say if you want to declare a list of integer type, you can declare. You will store the integer type data. Most important thing you should know, we can also have declare the list inside list, like that. You can also declare a list of sObjects. How? Let's say if I want to store the account data, account records. Okay. And in this account is an object in Salesforce which may have multiple records, multiple entries. I will declare my list with type account list account, like that. We'll learn more about this later on when we'll make the queries. So time being, just understand this. We can declare the account type of list as well. Now let's add some data into this integer. I'm removing this part. Add one, 1, 10, 10. Now let's debug this. We'll have 1, 1, 10, 10 into this. Because order will be same and it can also have the all along duplicate entries. 1, 1, 10, 10. So this is how our collection will work. Now let's learn about the set. Similar fashion, syntax will be same: set and data types, variable name equals to new set data types. Let's store the string type of data into the set. Adding data into set. So similarly, we have certain methods. You can see add, add all. These are the methods. So let's add the data. We are going to add Rocky two times. Rocky is two times, twice here. You can see what will happen when we will run this set. We'll have three entries only. We'll have Rocky, Naresh, Ravi. Order can be anything. It can be Naresh, Ravi, Rocky. It will remove the last entry from this set because set cannot contain the duplicate data. Naresh, Ravi, Rocky. So as I said, it will be going to remove, always remove the duplicate entries. It won't have the duplicate entries. Naresh, Ravi, Rocky. Similarly, you can use the set of IDs, set of accounts, set of contacts, set of set even. You can also use a set of integers. Let me add one more set here. Set dot add 7. Okay, here we have, yeah, integer type of set 7, 0, 1, and then 100. Let's say 10 only. So we have 1 10, 1 10. This time we will have only two entries. We don't have multiple entries because set store only the unique data, not the duplicate one. Let's execute it and see. You can see, okay, we haven't got the output. I need to put it into the debug. That's saved. It's saved. Now let's execute it. We'll see the entry 110, 110. So set will always have the unique entries. Sets are unordered. Your order can be preserved, cannot be. All on the other hand, list will always have the duplicate data, duplicate entries for all the entries. We can use other methods of list and set. Let's say if I want to check the size of this list size, we have function list dot size. It will be going to return you the integer data. On the other hand, let me check the size of this set as well. You can say we have list size 4 list and set size 3, because though we have this 4 entries here in this str set str, we have 4 entries, but it will remove the duplicate one and it will have only the unique entries. That's the reason here we have set size 3 and list size 4. Similarly, you can use other methods of list and set. Let's talk about the map. Maps are again really important, and the syntax is a bit different of maps. So map work on the basis of key and values. How? Map, you will declare like that: map key value. Map key value, that is the attribute name, equals to new map key comma value. So here key can be of any data type, value can be of any data type, and this will be your attribute name. Let's see with the example. Let's say I want to declare one map where I want to store the employee number and the employee name. Or employee number means employee unique number, not the mobile number. So I will declare my map with help of map integer and string. Map int to str string equals to new map integer comma string. So here let me add the data. So to add the data into the map, syntaxes are again a bit different. Here we don't use put, rather than here we use put rather than add. So into the map, if you want to set some data, we will be going to use the map method, that is dot put. The all these are the methods of the map. You can see we will use put. It's saying any key and any value, means any employee ID and the employee name. For example, let's say I want to put at 5, that is the employee ID, and I want to put the employee name Rakesh. Employee ID is 12, and employee name is Sonam. Employee ID may be 14, and we may have the same name, but employee ID will be different. Like we can have the employee of the same name in the organization. So let me debug that. So here, like data will come in the form of key and values when we will print it. Let me comment other debugs. You can also use the multi-line comment here rather than single. Means you can provide comment to multiple lines like this. Let me debug that. 5 equal to Rakesh, 12 equal to Sonam, 14 equal to Rakesh, 50 equal to Naresh. So Rakesh is a duplicate. That means we can have duplicate values but not duplicate keys inside the map. And we have certain more methods of the map. Let's say if I want to get like at key number 12, what employee name we have, who is the employee we have. So employee at 12 key. So here we have the method dot get. We have to provide the key, means key is 12. We can search from the any large collection by providing the key. If you have it, it basically have the searching very fast. Employee at 12 we have Sonam. Let's say if I want to get all the keys, or I mean all the employee IDs or all the employee names. So what I can do, system dot debug. Here I will be going to use plus dot p set. It will be going to return me the key. Let's say if I want to get the value, again we have the function to get all the values, dot values. Let's debug this. You can say employee at 12 sonum, all the keys inside the employee 5, 12, 14 and 15, and the values are these: Rakesh, sonum, like all the values which we have inside the map, these values are here. Okay, so we'll end up the collection part here. Let me stop the recording.